Question: is there a special way of communicating with people with disabilities? In my opinion, the answer is no. But here is the truth. For some people, they feel a little bit uncomfortable when it comes to interacting or engaging in conversations with people who have impairments or disabilities. This was something that I wasn't too aware of myself until one of my close friends revealed to me that before we became friends, he used to be nervous to be around me or interact with me because he just wasn't sure how to engage in a conversation with me. His worries were he would somehow offend me by saying the wrong thing, or I wouldn't be able to properly communicate with him, which made me think maybe it's a good idea to make a video and share some tips on how you can also interact with people who have disabilities as comfortably as possible. If there was a golden rule to communicating with people with impairments or disabilities, I would say it's this one. Number one, see the person first before you see their disability. Once you recognize and are aware that you are communicating with a fellow human being, it will only be natural for you to be respectful and considerate because every human being, regardless of who they are, where they come from, what they look like, all need respect. Just keep the conversation open and respectful, and there will be absolutely no problem at all. Number two is a pretty big one. I strongly encourage you to speak directly to the individual with an impairment or disability, even if they have a companion or interpreter in the room. This is very important. Speaking to the person directly not only shows them that you are interested in the conversation, but it also shows that you have faith in them as a human being fully capable of engaging in productive conversations. Number three, use your everyday tone and language. What am I talking about? There is absolutely no need to all of a sudden shift the way you normally speak just because you are talking to someone with an impairment. For example, some people will find themselves all of a sudden talking very slowly, like they normally wouldn't do, or very loudly, just because they think just because someone has an impairment, it means they are not able to communicate with them fully. You also don't need to overthink your language. It's absolutely alright to use phrases like going for a walk, even if you are talking to someone who has a mobility impairment, or to say see you later to someone who is visually impaired. I don't think using such phrases would offend anyone. If anything, they show that you also think of us as members of community. We don't have a certain specific language that we reserve for people with disabilities, do we? No, we speak just like everyone else. So using such phrases is absolutely okay. Number four, strictly no patronizing. Just because someone has a disability, it doesn't mean that they are perpetually a baby or a young child. If the individual you are talking to is an adult, it's important to recognize that and treat them as an adult. There is no need to all of a sudden start using babyish voices or to speak to them like you would a child. It can be quite disrespectful. An adult is still an adult, whether they have a disability or not. My next point is it's absolutely okay to ask questions, especially if you are unsure if the individual will be able to communicate with you or not. Ask questions and ask them directly. Whenever you find yourself a little bit unsure if the individual is able to communicate with you or not, it's totally okay for you to ask them. Ask them what form of communication they prefer to use. Maybe they would rather write down what they want to communicate with you, or they would want to speak with you through an interpreter. It's all okay to ask those questions, as long as you still remember point number two, which is to ask that particular individual directly and not go around them. It's also important to note that the style of communication largely depends on the level and type of disability or impairment the individual has. I hope you found the video helpful. If you did, don't forget to smash that like button and leave a comment below. Remember, your life is a gift. Make the most out of it. See you on the next video.